Hi all, today I want to talk about AMD. So let me ask you a question. If we're looking 10 years back, which was the better investment, Intel or AMD? So if we're taking a look at August 1st, 2014, Intel was trading at about $33.75. Today it trades for $34. So basically the stock went nowhere for 10 years. AMD was trading at around $3.91. Today it's about $180. So one investment went 45-fold, the other just did absolutely nothing. Looking at these results, you would think that probably AMD came, took all Intel's lunch money, bullied it into submission and take all of its market share. But that's actually not true. If we look at the results of Q4 2023, you will see that Intel has 72.3% of market share in PC chips deliveries and AMD has around 18%. So how come Intel has 3 times the market share of AMD and it still wasn't a really good investment? By the way, if we're looking at server chips, it's pretty much the same. Intel with 68.7% I think and AMD with 20.5%. So Intel has 3 times, 4 times the market share and AMD has around 20%, and yet AMD was much better investment. How come? And the answer is simple. AMD started with pretty much nothing and gradually grew to capture about 20% of the market. Why am I telling you this right now? Because right now we have pretty much the same situation. We have one company, which is called NVidia, which has about 95% of market share of GPUs. And AMD basically has nothing. Does that mean that if we're looking today at the market, NVIDIA will be a better investment than AMD? And the answer is obviously no. AMD could very well be an amazing investment if it will be able to capture about 20-30% of the market. If you find this information valuable, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. It will help us grow immensely. Right now, AMD is operating in the very familiar territory of the company number 2. Take a look at the AMD throughout the years. AMD was never a market leader in pretty much any category. It was always the company number 2. And I think in GPU market, they can be company number 2 as well, if they will be able to catch around 20% of the market share. By the way, just recently, Patrick Moore, chief analyst of Moore Insights and Strategy, said the hyperscalers want choice and every market which is dominated by one company is making them very uncomfortable, as it should. And it's true. Having a market dominated by one company like NVIDIA has right now is bad for business and it's very bad for risk management. So right now, if we're looking at the GPU market and the overall AI chips market, NVIDIA is selling every single H100 it can produce, and then it has a sizable backlog. The problem is the demand, because many companies which want these GPUs right now cannot get them, and this is an opportunity for other companies to get their market share. The way AMD is trying to compete right now is to offer a value and the performance. AMD is not trying to offer kind of full stack solution like NVIDIA does with H100s and with CUDA, both offering the software and the hardware. AMD did not offer that, and at this point in time, it's not really capable of offering that, but it doesn't need to. AMD right now is kind of operate in this very familiar territory of let's get a foot at the door of some market and gradually over time increase its market share. By the way, a couple of months ago, Microsoft has announced that it will offer its cloud compute services based solely on AMD chips, the AI services of its Azure cloud, to the customers to kind of compete with the rival NVIDIA. And that is what I'm talking about. The big companies, the hyperscalers, will be offering both NVIDIA services and AMD services. And the question is, can AMD get to these 15, 20, 25% of the market share? And AMD has been working hard to get into this business, both offering the new accelerators, which are already in the market, and actually acquiring externally other companies which are related to data centers and to AI business as well. A couple of years ago, you probably remember the huge acquisition of Xilinx, which went for about $49 billion, I think. Then AMD acquired Pensando System, the distributed computing startup, for about $1.9 billion. And a couple of weeks ago, we have heard the announcement that AMD is about to acquire Silo AI, the European biggest AI lab, for $665 million. By the way, this acquisition had a very good reaction with the analysts. Right now we're we're going to talk about financial, and then we're going to move into analyst expectations and their target prices. So if we're looking at the financials and overall how the previous quarter and this quarter are going for AMD, you have to feel bad for poor guys, because previous quarter AMD delivered the same sales as the analysts were expecting. They have delivered the same earnings the analysts were expecting. So basically sales were expected $548 billion, they have delivered 547. The earnings were expected 62 cents and they delivered these 62 cents. The guidance that the company gave for this quarter was exactly as the analysts have expected. And what did the stock do the next day? Drop 9%. Because right now, being as expected is not good enough anymore. In times of NVIDIA and SMCI growing 146% in a year with margins of 85% and just bringing tens of billions of dollars every quarter, that's kind of the expectation right now. So the expectation right now is being unexpectedly good, which AMD didn't do. Right now, AMD is expecting $573 billion for this quarter. So let's wait for numbers and see how they do this time. Now let's talk about analyst target prices and what they are saying. So analysts were pretty, I would say, neutral on AMD. Pretty much everyone would give them 170, 180 target price, which is kind of the target price there is right now. Analysts were pretty surprised for good with the acquisition of Silo AI, which I've talked about, the European company with the AI lab. So Aaron Rakers with Wells Fargo raised his target price from 180 to 205, and in his customer notes said that the news is positive. This is tactical and strategic move focused on developing AMD's internal open source AI software expertise. Another company, Row MKM, I would not read the whole customer note because they pretty much said the same. They raised their target price from 180 to 200. So kind of the analysts are expecting AMD to move about 15-20%. The most optimistic target price, by the way, belongs to KeyBank analyst. Sorry, never heard of KeyBank, so I cannot tell you anything about this company. They are expecting AMD stock to be about 270, which is 50% from now. Maybe someday, probably not in the next couple of months. So this is it for AMD. I am pretty optimistic about this company. The company is in a situation where it feels comfortable being number 2 and gradually eating market share from the bigger company. Think of it that way. NVIDIA cannot go more than it is right now. Its market share is already in the 90s, 95%. NVIDIA can only grow with the market. Yes, this market is rapidly growing. It's an amazing market, but NVIDIA cannot capture more. AMD has the whole playing field. That's all for now. If you like this video, please press the like button and subscribe to our channel. It will help us grow. And thank you for your time, and we will see you in the next video. Take care.